وما يذكر إلا أولو الألباب.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful and especially merciful. Dear viewers across the globe, I greet you with the greeting of Islam, this great religion, the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and peace be unto all of you. Here in this episode, as the previous episodes, the main theme, there is a common theme among all of them, which is understanding Islam. Without understanding, it becomes so difficult for people to interpret what is around them, what happens in the world, what happens in the universe, what happens in the dynamics of this life. They want to understand. And the way to understand Islam is through the statements of Allah, which we call them ayat, ayah, which means evidence, because every verse, every statement, every ayah is understood to be evidence that it is from Almighty Allah. So it's not a statement of human being. So this is enough for us to pay attention to the words, the exact words of Almighty Allah, so that we would clear understanding. In this life, we would buy a book and we try to understand it when we read it, but sometimes we don't get clear understanding of it. So we ask teachers, we ask educators, we ask the author of the book himself. Try to imagine that if you are taking a class in the university or in any level, and the one who is teaching you the course is the author himself. Of course, you get this blessing because it adds to you, because you get clear understanding. Who understands his own book except the author? Because he tells you if there's something that may be misinterpreted, he can correct you. By the same token, وَلِلَّهِ الْمَثَلُ الْأَعْلَى, we take this Quran and we understand it from the author of this book, the one who wrote this book, the one, of course, not writing, the one who made this book, who spoke this book, who revealed this book to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who said this book to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he is the one who sent down this book to humanity. So he is the one who understands everything in it. So now, when we quote from him, so this gives us clear understanding of the message of Islam, because this is the religion of Allah. At the same time, we get clear understanding from these statements of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from the explanation of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his Sunnah. So when we take from these two, of course, we have clear understanding. So this is the target of every Muslim, to go deep and understand. It's not just words to say them. This is not just ayat to recite them. Definitely this is something very important. Yet we need something deeper, which is understanding. We read to understand. And when we understand, we apply and we implement. Without doing this, we don't get the benefit. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, he said that there are some people who were given the Torah. They carried the Torah. And he gave the example of donkeys. Donkeys, they carry books. Do donkeys benefit from these books? They just carry the book. When you just carry the Quran, when you just read the Quran without understanding, you don't get benefit from it. You get benefit when you understand. So this is the thing that made us select this topic, because it's so important for Muslims and non-Muslims alike. So the non-Muslim would know where Muslims are coming from. Take this verse. This is ayah number or verse number 9 in Surah Al-Hijr. As it reads, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إنا نحن نزلنا الذكر وإنا له لحافظون. Very small number of words. إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. 8 words. It says that indeed we sent down the Quran, and indeed we will keep it and maintain it without being corrupted. We will protect it. This is how it can be translated. And let me show you. First here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the royal pronoun. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about himself in 2 different ways. In all issues of ibadah and in all issues of aqeedah, Allah talks about himself by I. Is this pronoun all time. So no one would have some sort of confusion in the way to know Allah. There's always one, and this removes all kinds of shirk, all forms of Trinity, all forms of other things, and this in itself corrects what's in the mind of people about Allah, because He's one and always one and has always been one and He will always be one. La ilaha illallah. This is one way He expresses Himself and He talks about Himself. And the other way that He talks about Himself, He says that inna, He selects the royal, we call it the royal we. He is one, but He used the word royal, the word nahnu, we, not just to show you that He has the power to do this, but to help you convince yourself that He is capable. So you will feel very comfortable because He reminds you of His capacity and capability of doing things. So this is the royal we. Here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the royal we here to confirm to you, to keep you rest assured that He is capable of doing this. He's telling you that He is the one who sent down this Quran, this dhikr, and He is the one who has the capacity and the ability to protect it for all lifetime. So now you feel comfortable. That's why every Muslim is 100% sure that this book has never ever been touched by human beings. It was sent down from Allah to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, 100% correct. And from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Allah guaranteed that from Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to the people, 100% correct. And the people, as we know that, they have, by the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, kept this Quran safe and unchanged. Because when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that it will happen, it will happen. Just by one word, Allah says, be, and it becomes. Be protected, and it is protected. And the proof you can see by yourself now. You go to any mosque in the world, in Hawaii, in Africa, in Europe, in China, in Russia, anywhere in the world, you see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protected the Quran. Any one person, an imam or another person, recites the Quran, and if he or she makes a mistake, of course unintentional mistake, they will be corrected by the Muslims around him or around her immediately. And this scenario or this scene happens everywhere in the world. When you are in house, you make a mistake, your brother, your sister, or your mother, or your father corrects you immediately. There is no power on the earth to change it. Not only that, we have at least today more than 10 million people who memorize the book of Allah from cover to cover. Approximately 10 million, if not more, which is in itself, if you compare this situation, this scenario, with any other religion on this globe, you will never find any book that had been protected and preserved by Almighty Allah except this book. I hope, inshallah, we benefit from this and we would know that this book, the Holy Quran, is the only divine book on this planet that had been kept, preserved without any single or slight change in it. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
وما يذكر إلا